all of Kansas City is talking about a proposal from Burns & McDonnell to privately finance a new single terminal at the airport. And I think there's been a little confusion about what exactly that means. Does that mean we're getting a free airport? We're not,
No.
but it's a unique plan. And Councilwoman Justus, I know you've been a strong proponent of the plan. Why is it better to do it this way, to go with Burns & McDonnell, give them the contract, let them privately finance the airport instead of just going the traditional route and having bonds be issued and, you know, have City Hall be kind of running the show?
Well, I think there are two things, and to be clear, we are at the beginning of the legislative process, so we still have a lot of work to do to make sure that we get to a plan that actually works for all of us, that we're comfortable with. But the two things that I think that are great about this plan, number one, it builds on the work that we've done for the last 6 years as this community. So we had the ATAG group, which was a citizens group that came back and said we need a new terminal. Then we had 2 years of the airlines and the aviation department sitting down talking about what we needed to do. And what this plan does is it picks up where that group left off, and it changes the financing and it changes the exclusivity on the design build. So that's the difference. And so I like that we are not starting from scratch, that we are picking up where we left off. And then the second piece of it is, no matter how many times we explain to voters that airports are paid for by airlines and airport users, there is just still a sense that it will somehow come back on them as taxpayers. And so this really puts that issue to rest, because there will not be any public debt. It will be all private equity. And so those are the things that I find very intriguing and the reason that I'm interested in exploring this plan.
And Councilman Lucas, do you think this is a better way to build an airport?
You know, I think we're learning right now. And
In
so,
real time,
you know,
right?
as Councilwoman Justus says, I mean, this is the beginning of a process. I take that very seriously. I agree with her on the fact that we've done a lot of work for a number of years, and so to just throw that all out may be something different. And that, in some ways, is the problem with a pure competitive bid. If we started that just tomorrow out of whole cloth, that might take a whole different set of work. At the same time, you know, I think there are some important questions that we need answered. Is this the best value for the flying public versus the public bond route? Is this actually going to help build all those things like convenience, the buzzword we hear about all the time? And are we going to have the most favorable terms for Kansas City, Missouri, not just today, but in decades in the future? So I'm coming in with an open mind, which means open mind in not just a shoot down something idea way, but also seeing how this idea can work. And I think that's what everybody is expecting of us right now and what we're trying to do.
So one of our viewers, Eric, asked if there are any plans to move the airport out south, which it kind of speaks to, you know, just how much education you need to do in terms of explaining to voters what this entails. And so, I mean, just to be clear, the airport's not moving. You would build a new terminal in the exact same place where KCI is now.
That's correct. We plan, if this plan were to move forward, to build a new single terminal where Terminal A is right now. I know that Kansas has decided that they would like to start having conversations about moving the terminal out south, and that is something that, while might be a long shot, is one that we need to take seriously, because frankly, over time, it is something that, if we don't do something dramatic at KCI, may become an option. But in the short run, our plan obviously is to look at Terminal A.
Why not take bids on this process, Councilwoman?
Well,
you guys take bids on pencils.
No, absolutely.
And everything that the public does, and it's very common, as you know, to seek bids and then to find public financing. Both of those things are not present in this plan. Why?
So, because the plan that was presented to us didn't involve that component. And so now it is our job to do the due diligence to see if that is still a workable and, I think, smart plan for the city. And so if this does not work out, then we'll have to have that conversation. But this was a proposal that was brought to us that, frankly, would lead to a new terminal a lot faster if we end up agreeing to it than it would if we went through the bid process. And so right now, it's what we think we need to at least investigate.
Are you at all concerned, lack of bids? Again, you bid on virtually everything. that
Yeah.
you do at City Hall.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think all of us would say that we disfavor a process without bids, but this is the process that's before us now. And so this is why I think we've conducted or are conducting due diligence with legal counsel, asking lots of questions, asking for financial comparative analysis to see whether this is actually the best deal we can get. And so, yeah, my preference would be that this is the normal process. It came to us. It was efficient. We haven't spent all these years doing whatever we've been doing. I understand where we are now, and that's why I think we're doing the work that we are now to come to the right answer.
Are you at all worried there's no public borrowing for this project? Because it's clearly, I mean, there's some dispute about this, but I think everyone agrees it's going to be somewhat more expensive to do it that way. There's a great disagreement on how much more expensive.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost someone more money to do a private
Yeah, I
financing.
think that's absolutely something that we should be concerned about. I mean, when you're looking at the
And
30...
the company even said that last night, didn't they, in the hearing, that yes, this is going to cost people who fly more money.
I'm not sure that they said that last night, Dave. I think that what they said last night is that obviously private dollars can be more expensive than public dollars, but that because of the rising cost of construction right now, that their faster project would actually possibly bring it in at the same price or lower. And that's going to have to be fleshed out in our negotiations.
Right, and what,
those are answers we need.
And what faster means, and their commitment to be faster, is also needs to be something on the table.
Absolutely.
Because right now, all you have is sort of a promise we'll do it faster, but no contractual requirement that you do it. And that's something you guys are going to have.
Yeah, that's absolutely something we're going to do. I mean, every question that someone out in the public is thinking of, I'm certain that one of the members of the city council is thinking about right now. Yeah. And we come from
Members of the editorial board, I think.
and members of the editorial board, and so all of those questions are being asked. I know there are some on our council who aren't as favorable to this idea at all. There are some who seem to think this is the best idea. Nevertheless, I think we're going to use all of that to try to get to the right answer as to whether this is the right approach for the future.